Peace, family. I was looking at this statistic that they said I couldn't believe, but I could believe. It said that Elon Musk has now accumulated over $800 billion. Elon's wealth by himself is as much as the next four billionaires combined. And they mentioned Jeff Bezos and I believe Bill Gates. This one individual, Elon Musk, $800 billion in net worth. What does that tell you? What that tells me is that this government, this system, does not work for the people. Because if this government worked half as efficiently for the people as it do for the private job sector, then where's our wealth? Where's our prosperity? When they broke down Elon Musk's money, I believe they said $300 something million was attached to Tesla, and $600 something million was attached to SpaceX. Now, SpaceX is an entity that just come around no more than like 4 or 5 years ago, and it has made Elon Musk almost $500 to $600 billion. This is a government project that come from taxpayer dollars. You know, if the government did for the people what it's doing for the private job sector, they would call that socialism. They would call it socialism. They would say the government not supposed to do that. Because, and the reason why they don't want the government to do that, because that's what the government was intended to do in the first place. And you know, I can hear the trolls now talking about something. Oh no, here we go. He's about to go back to slavery. Not this time. Why? Because I don't have to. I'm gonna go back to what the founding fathers of this country said when they had the Declaration of Independence. They said that they're going to form a governing body, a system of government, to first secure and protect the prosperity of the people of this country. And they get their power derived from the consent of the people. And if the government becomes negligent or reckless in their pursuit, it is up to the people to adjust the government or revolt against them. So the whole purpose of the system of government is to first secure the peace and prosperity of the people. This country is at the threshold of 250 years of existence. This government was established in 1776. Tell me, when has this country ever displayed the ability to first put the people first before you do anything else? Tell me when. When this country was first founded 250 years ago, as it developed over the years, different branches and departments, their first obligation should have been to further secure and further protect the needs and interests and prosperity of the people first. Tell me, when have they done that? You know, when you look at the money Elon Musk has made in the private job sector, and then you compare it to the money this man made in the private, in the public realm of politics, why would anybody want to work in the private job sector? Even Donald Trump, through all his willings and dealings, through all the years he claimed that he was a billionaire, you have people sitting up here talking about Donald Trump is the greatest businessman on earth. He's the greatest negotiator. He's TV. He's marketing. Donald Trump was the king of New York. He built New York. Donald Trump, in the first year of his last term in office, has made over $3 billion. That is more than any recorded time in Donald Trump's private job sector life, his private existence. This man has never made as much money throughout his whole entire life, and Donald Trump is almost 80 years old. Well, he's over 80 years old. I believe it is. And he's never made that much money until his final term in office. Why would anybody want to work for the public if you can make that kind of money in politics? They did another, and you know, and further thing on Donald Trump. This man who has filed bankruptcy 6 times, bankrupt several businesses, cheated on every wife that he ever had children outside the marriage, buried his ex-wife on his golf course just to save taxes, has been linked to Epstein, sexual assault. Now that he's president of the United States, now he wants to sue the Department of Justice for $10 billion for damages to his reputation. Tell me something. How does a man with this type of resume have $10 billion worth of reputation that he had? How does this man worth $10 billion? How is his reputation worth $10 billion? But see, this is how the corrupt and evil get into politics. And because there's no safeguards, you can just make money hand over fist and nobody questions nothing, even though Donald Trump is appointing people in charge of the Department of Justice. So out of this $10 billion, let's say he wins this $10 billion settlement. You don't think none of his cronies that he put in office are going to get some money as well? You see, like I say, if the government was doing for the people what they do for the private job sector, they'd be screaming socialism. How it don't work for the government not here to create jobs for the people. But the people is the one who pay the government their taxes. It's the private job sector who don't want to pay taxes. So tell me, how is it that the private job sector can make so much money off a system that they don't want to pay, and the people can be so poor that it actually funds the system? When this government goes into shutdown, and the people who work for the government don't get paid, but the politicians continue to get paid, tell me how this government is working for the people. You know, they can vote for their own raises. They get unlimited health care. They did another statistic that said when these politicians come into office, within a couple of years of their serving their term, they become millionaires. So once these people come out of the private jobs, out of the public sector and get into politics, these people who are worth $50,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 become millionaires in their first 2 years in office. Tell me how this system is working for the people. And another thing that you can think that I think of is the fact that this country is 340 something million people, but yet the military that protects it is less than 1.5 million. If you had a country of 340 something million people, how do you have a military that's only 1.5 million people? Protect the needs and interests of over almost 350 million. How does that make any sense? This military is not here to protect the needs and interests of the people. This military is here to protect the needs and interests of the private job sector, period. They've never been concerned with the peace and prosperity of the people. You know what? This is why people don't want to listen to my content. This is why people don't want to like and share it, because it's going to stir some stuff. But I'm going to do it anyway. But it is what it is. I'm in this video here, and as always, these are my thoughts, my opinions. I invite you to leave yours in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Ashe.